Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz, and every time I see people getting hyped about newly released Planeswalkers, I have to remind myself that 50% of cEDH players are casuals at heart and have no idea what makes a good card. Just kidding, of course, I don't actually think that about our scene. It's probably more like 90%. So allow me to use my teaching skills and my obsession for this format to explain to you why almost all Planeswalkers are bad in cEDH and most likely always will remain bad for as long as the format exists. Oh yeah, and just to invalidate all of the points I'm about to make, I'll then also give you a quick rundown of the actual best Planeswalkers in cEDH so you can understand what actually makes a good Planeswalker. So without further ado, here is why Planeswalkers suck. Reason number 1. Planeswalkers are non-creature spells and are therefore very easy to interact with. A lot of interaction spells such as Fierce Guardianship, Spell Pierce or Force of Negation are kind of narrow, because they only counter non-creature spells. This means that while creatures are more prone to removal, non-creature spells are more prone to be interacted with on the stack. This is also very true for Planeswalkers. So ideally, while they are weak on the stack, they should be more resilient on the board, correct? Unfortunately, this is not the case, and it also leads me to reason number 2. Planeswalkers are permanents that can be very easily removed via combat damage. In a format where combat damage and life totals are less relevant than a typical 1v1, direct combat damage to a Planeswalker is an easy decision for most players, unless they absolutely have to beat down an opponent's life total. A really nice example for this is the interaction of Narset, Power of Veils and Crown. While Narset has a very strong ability that stops blue farm decks from drawing a lot of cards, she is not able to increase her loyalty or to protect herself against combat damage in any way, shape or form. This means that while in theory Narset is a good hate piece against the card advantage that blue farm generates, it just dies to a single Crown attack, because Crown is both flying and hasty. So Planeswalkers are both weak on the stack and fragile on the board. Reason number 3. While some Planeswalkers have really strong abilities, you only get to activate those abilities once per turn. This is very much like the typical do this only once per turn clause we find in a lot of new standard legal cards in order to avoid any kind of unwanted combo potential. In cEDH, that's just really weak, especially since you always have to decide between whatever protective uptick ability that Planeswalker has and whatever kind of value generating downtick ability that Planeswalker has. This makes Planeswalkers slow and inefficient value engines that are rarely, if ever, able to use their ultimate ability. Remember, they are easy to remove via combat damage, slow to uptick, and in cEDH, most removal and bounce spells only cost a single mana. Reason number 4. You can't activate abilities of Planeswalkers at instant speed even in your own turn, with some exceptions. This is really bad in a meta that's characterized by flash enablers and instant speed game-winning lines. So even if you draw into whatever kind of one-of-use Planeswalker you have in your deck, you are not able to cast it and immediately use it at instant speed. Just imagine drawing into a Tezzeret the Seeker, having flash and all the necessary mana, but not being able to use the tutor ability because of timing restrictions. Now don't get me wrong, there are good reasons for the once per turn clause and the sorcery speed restrictions, because if those weren't in place, any Planeswalker would immediately dominate every game by spamming more or less free activations at instant speed in every player's turn, and we probably wouldn't want that. But the reality is that by creating a strong yet balanced card type for 1v1 formats, Wizards also created a very mediocre card type for Commander. And this leads me to my final point on why Planeswalkers suck. Reason number 5. They are extremely hard to tutor for outside of the black color identity. Obviously there are some Planeswalker tutors, but they almost all suck because they are just way too narrow and or expensive. The only one that comes to mind with some potential in cEDH would be Arena Rector. This is the case because most broken tutors that see play in cEDH, such as Mystical Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, Gamble or Worldly Tutor, were printed way before Planeswalker even existed as a card type. So now, whenever a tutor is printed, Wizard makes sure that it's balanced enough to not break any formats. For us cEDH players, this just means that Planeswalkers as combo pieces or value engines in the 99 are not a reliable game plan unless you can actively tutor for them, which is only possible if you play black tutors. So yeah, these are the 5 main reasons why Planeswalkers are so bad in cEDH, but of course, as everyone knows, they pull much more weight in a well-managed 60 card format. Let's just remember how good of a card Jace the Mind Sculptor actually was back in the day, or how strong Red and 6 were in Legacy. And there are of course always exceptions to the rule. some Planeswalkers actually do see play in cEDH despite being so bad as a card type in a borderline unmanaged 100-card singleton multiplayer free-for-all format. So here are the top performing Planeswalkers in cEDH in 2025. Number 1. Teferi Time Reveler. This is a perfect example of a really good Planeswalker. Teferi has a static silence effect, a really good uptick ability that gives your sorceries flash, and we all know how broken flash is. But even more importantly, Teferi is part of a combo with Displacer Kitten and Mox Opal that allows you to draw your deck and generate mana, while protecting itself through Teferi. Number 2. Dihada, Binder of Wills. Dihada is a Planeswalker in the command zone, so you have easy access to her. As a commander, she is really fast and also resilient as a Breach Enabler that provides both cards in the graveyard and mana via treasures, while also being a combo piece with Breach and Flicker. Number 3. Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler. In graveyard-centric Junt and Abzan decks, Tyvar is almost an auto-include. Its static ability is a pseudo-haste enabler, and its ultimate can immediately be activated. Although the Reanimator effect is limited to creatures with mana value 2 or less, that limitation is almost irrelevant in cEDH. Number 4. Tezzeret the Seeker. Although Tezzeret does not have a static ability, both his uptick ability and his downtick ability provide a lot of immediate value. Most importantly, you can immediately downtick Tezzeret for 3 to 4 loyalty to put anything from Basalt to the One Ring or Unwinding Clock directly onto the battlefield. This immediate huge payoff is what makes Tezzeret a very playable Planeswalker. And number 5, Ral, Monsoon Mage, or Ral, Leyline Prodigy. This is a very special case because on the front, Ral is not a Planeswalker and is super cheap to cast, which makes him fast and resilient. Additionally, the backside can be put into play with multiple additional counters, which allows you to immediately activate Ral's ultimate ability, which as a payoff is so strong that it usually wins games. So those would be my top 5 Planeswalkers, but of course there are some more that see a little bit of play here and there, like Karn, Jeska, Kaito, Teversat, Tamiyo, Vivian, Minsc and Boo, Narset Grist and Oko. But generally speaking, Planeswalkers as a card type are really underperforming in cEDH. So the next time you assess the potential of a newly released Planeswalker, make sure to look for these 3 factors. Number 1, does it have an immediate payoff that is worth the investment, like Tezzeret? Number 2, does it have a static ability that is worth the investment? And additionally, am I able to reliably protect this Planeswalker from removal via combat damage, like Narset, which has a really strong static ability, but is hard to protect. Number 3, is this Planeswalker part of a reliable game-winning line, such as Dihada with Flicker and Breach? If none of these hold up, then the card is probably trash in most, if not all, cEDH decks. Now, with all that being said, you tell me, what do you think about how good of a card Tezzeret Cruel Captain is in cEDH? And that's it for today. If you enjoy my content and want to support me, please make sure to like, share, comment and subscribe. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.